We want to welcome you back into Queen City News now on this Thursday morning. I'm Ian Wyatt Little.
And I'm Julian Sador in for Jason Harper. We have meteorologist Amanda Cox in for Ted Phaeton, who is on vacation right now.
Yes.
And I wish we could all take a vacation from this hot, muggy system that is just stuck over the Carolinas right now.
You need to go up to the mountains or somewhere to escape the
But you
heat.
know what? The mountains are in the 70s this morning, too.
So no
Starting
escape.
warm and just
It's not great out there, no matter where you go. All right, guys, let's take a look at what's happening. We actually have lots of sunshine, a few high clouds. Overall, not too bad at our South Park camera, but it is muggy, it's humid, no matter where you go. And we actually even have a couple of showers and thunderstorms developing in eastern Tennessee, right along the border. And you can take a look as they get a little bit closer. Are they going to hold together? That's what we're going to have to watch as we head through the rest of the day. So out at Queens Landing, 72 degrees right now. You can see the winds are calm, just nice and light. However, that's just not mixing things up too much. So it's already feeling very muggy. Our dew points are in the 70s. We're going to go for 90s this afternoon. A couple of showers and thunderstorms. Heat index values will be in the lower 100s. So once again, we do have a heat advisory as well as an excessive heat warning for Lancaster as well as Chesterfield County. That's because it could be a little bit higher down towards the south. A couple of showers and thunderstorms possible at times as we head through the afternoon, evening hours. Probably wind down about 8, 9 o'clock, and then we'll see quieter conditions to start off your Friday before a secondary round comes in later in the day on Friday as well. Either day, we could have some strong, possibly severe storms. Heavy downpours could be an issue. If you get under some of those heavier downpours, you may see your totals adding up a little bit more, but you also may see, look at this, just 1/10 of an inch in Gastonia. And overall, that's because they probably didn't pick up a whole lot in the way of activity. It's going to be very hit or miss. Unfortunately, we haven't had a whole lot of rain, even though we've been very active. We're 7 days in and we're still less than a ½ an inch of rain for the month, considering we've had now several days of showers and thunderstorms coming through. And unfortunately, this is not helping our drought monitor at all. And I think as the new one comes in later on this morning, we're going to see it worsening. Now, if you're going to be in the pool over the next couple of days, keep your eye to the sky. If any lightning does develop, make sure to get out of the pool. But this will be definitely a good way to kind of cool off over the next couple of days. You may just want to avoid some of those showers and thunderstorms if outdoors, guys.
all right. Thank you, Amanda. We want to get to some breaking news right now.
That's right. Prime Minister Boris Johnson speaking right now about his decision to resign. Let's listen in.
Of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister. And I've agreed with Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of our backbench MPs, that the process of choosing that new leader should begin now. And the timetable will be announced next week. And I've today appointed a cabinet to serve, as I will, until a new leader is in place. So I want to say to the millions of people who voted for us in 2019, many of them voting Conservative for the first time, thank you for that incredible mandate, the biggest Conservative majority since 1987, the biggest share of the vote since 1979. And the reason I have fought so hard in the last few days to continue to deliver that mandate in person was not just because I wanted to do so, but because I felt it was my job, my duty, my obligation to you to continue to do what we promised in 2019. And of course, I'm immensely proud of the achievements of this government, from getting Brexit done to settling our relations with the continent for over half a century, reclaiming the power for this country to make its own laws in Parliament, getting us all through the pandemic, delivering the fastest vaccine rollout in Europe, the fastest exit from lockdown, and in the last few months, leading the West in standing up to Putin's aggression in Ukraine. And let me say now to the people of Ukraine that I know that we in the UK will continue to back your fight for freedom for as long as it takes. And at the same time, in this country, we've been pushing forward a vast program of investment in infrastructure and skills and technology, the biggest in a century, because if I have one insight into human beings, it is that genius and talent and enthusiasm and imagination are evenly distributed throughout the population, but opportunity is not. And that's why we must keep leveling up, keep unleashing the potential of every part of the United Kingdom. And if we can do that in this country, we will be the most prosperous in Europe. And in the last few days, I've tried to persuade my colleagues that it would be eccentric to change governments when we're delivering so much, and when we have such a vast mandate, and when we're actually only a handful of points behind in the polls, even in mid-term after quite a few months of pretty relentless sledging, and when the economic scene is so difficult domestically and internationally. And I regret not to have been successful in those arguments, and of course it's painful not to be able to see through so many ideas and projects myself. But as we've seen at Westminster, the herd instinct is powerful. When the herd moves, it moves. And my friends, in politics, no one is remotely indispensable. And our brilliant and Darwinian system will produce another leader equally committed to taking this country forward through tough times, not just helping families to get through it, but changing and improving the way we do things, cutting burdens on businesses and families, and yes, cutting taxes, because that is the way to generate the growth and the income we need to pay for great public services. And to that new leader, I say, whoever he or she may be, I say I will give you as much support as I can. And to you, the British public, I know that there will be many people who are relieved, and perhaps quite a few who will also be disappointed. And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks. I want to thank Carrie and our children and all the members of my family who've had to put up with so much for so long. I want to thank the peerless British civil service for all the help and support that you have given our police, our emergency services, and of course, our fantastic NHS, who at critical moment helped to extend my own period in office, as well as our armed services and our agencies that are so admired around the world, and our indefatigable Conservative Party members and supporters, whose selfless campaigning makes our democracy possible. I want to thank the wonderful staff here at Chequers, here at Number 10, and of course at Chequers, and our fantastic prop force detectives, the one group, by the way, who never leak. Above all, I want to thank you, the British public, for the immense privilege that you have given me. And I want you to know that from now on until the new Prime Minister is in place, your interests will be served and the government of the country will be carried on. Being Prime Minister is an education in itself. I've travelled to every part of the United Kingdom, and in addition to the beauty of our natural world, I found so many people possessed of such boundless British originality and so willing to tackle old problems in new ways that I know that even if things can sometimes seem dark now, our future together is golden. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
In there to Prime Minister Boris Johnson announcing his resignation and saying what is going to come next, saying he'll appoint a cabinet to serve until the new Prime Minister will be appointed. The Conservative Party, the party in control there, Boris's own party, will be the one to appoint the next Prime Minister.
And this is a historic day for Britain. Boris Johnson serving a little under 3 years in office. Of course, he was facing an immense amount of pressure after losing 50 top members in his government there due to new political scandal and then defections there from top levels of his government. So certainly a story that we will continue to follow throughout the day and the process to appoint the next Prime Minister.
That's right. At the time, 7:37, the president is also president here. President Biden trying to rein in inflation and bring down gas prices. Queen
City News reporter Savannah Rudisell is live in Northwest Charlotte with how top officials are trying to fight off a recession. Savannah?
This near 40-year record high inflation, it's changing the way that people shop. It's also changing some poll numbers. Political analysts say that the state of the economy may spell out trouble for Democrats in these midterm elections. Now, President Biden is back in Washington today after hitting the road and some key battleground states, including a stop in Ohio, talking about his economic policy. Now, he says part of his plan to get more dollars back in the pockets of Americans is with legislation to protect pensions. But he says his main focus remains on inflation. Now, the president continues to show some unwavering support for the Federal Reserve's campaign to slow down inflation through interest rate hikes. He says he will continue to back moves that will cool off the economy by any means necessary, even if it leads to a possible recession, which the president says isn't necessarily unavoidable right now, just something that they're keeping an eye on. Now, the president is getting a lot of heat for also not being able to rein in gas prices. We talked with petroleum analysts about what's going on with the global supply and what that potential outlook is for the rest of the summer. We'll break that down for you coming up for you in our next half hour. Reporting live in Northwest Charlotte, Savannah Rudisell, Queen City News.
All right, it's going to be another hot and humid day across the region. We are already seeing 71 degrees up in Banner Elk, so it doesn't matter where you go. We are in the 70s at this hour. It's humid, though, with our dew points up, and it's just going to be kind of a muggy day overall. A couple of showers and thunderstorms just to our east. We're relatively quiet right now, but we expect to see some more shower and thunderstorm activity developing as we head through the afternoon and evening hours. It's not going to be widespread, and a lot of the time will be dry, but you want to keep an eye out for that shower thunderstorm to become strong, possibly severe in a few locations. We expect to see our heat index values getting into the lower 100s once again today. So a heat advisory as well as an excessive heat warning has been issued for portions of our area until 7 p.m. this evening. Now, we do have those showers and thunderstorms that could cause your wipers to be on later on today. If you are going to be out exercising, I recommend you wait till probably later this evening where we see those temperatures kind of decline just a bit. We will see some relief in the heat as we get into your Sunday and Monday, which means temperatures are going to be back in the 80s. We'll be right back.
Welcome back into Queen City News now on your Thursday morning. Taking a look over the uptown skyline there at the Queen City. It looks picture perfect, but what you can tell is it's still hot and muggy, and we still have an unsettled system that we're dealing with. Meteorologist Amanda Cox has more on that in about 4 minutes. Well, in less than a month, racing will return to one of the original tracks to play host to stock car racing.
Yeah, by now, you've probably heard about North Wilkesboro Speedway, which has been closed since 1996.
Queen City News reporter Brett Baldick is live at Charlotte Motor Speedway with a history lesson on why North Wilkesboro Speedway is so darn important. Brett, good morning.
Good morning, Julian and Ann Wyatt. So the reason, first of all, that we're here at Charlotte Motor Speedway is because Speedway Motorsports owns North Wilkesboro Speedway. Of course, that's owned by the Smith family, who owns Charlotte Motor Speedway and speedways all across the country. So to put North Wilkesboro Speedway in perspective, think of it as NASCAR's version of Wrigley Field or Madison Square Garden, and those places closed down and sports were not played there anymore. Well, North Wilkesboro has 70 years of history, and a new page in the history book will be written in less than a month when racing finally returns.
25 years of neglect being washed away. North Wilkesboro Speedway is ready for a new start. One of the most historic speedways in the country is being recognized for its roots.
North Wilkesboro Speedway is as close as you can get to the beginnings of stock car racing.
Before NASCAR called Uptown Charlotte home, downtown North Wilkesboro was where the sport was first thought of. In 1947, promoter Bill France Sr. and others met in North Wilkesboro to draft plans to establish NASCAR. The speedway just outside city limits was once farmland, but hosted NASCAR during its first season in 1949. Fast forward more than 70 years later, and North Wilkesboro is adding another page in history, hosting racing for the first time since closing in 1996. Testing is taking place, drivers are ready, and the place is getting spruced up to host fans.
I knew it could come back, but I knew there was only one other way after us going through so many false starts, so many people coming over here selling us pipe dreams.
So although Speedway Motorsports still owns North Wilkesboro Speedway, there is a promoter called Race XR that is helping put on the events in August and October. So this is all called the Racetrack Revival, and the first race on the track will be August 2nd and August 3rd, and they'll have racing pretty much every week throughout the month of August, ending on August 30th and August 31st with a late model race that will be run during the week with some of the biggest NASCAR stars, including Dale Earnhardt Jr. The track is also looking for volunteers to help out in August and October. We've placed all the information, or we will be placing all the information in the next couple of minutes over on our website at qcnews.com if you want to figure out how you can volunteer or how you can attend some of these races coming up next month. And Wyatt and Jillian, back to you.
Brett, we know you're very excited about this. A lot of other people. I loved seeing the old pictures. Oh, we've got a bug crawling on the camera behind us. I just saw. Sorry about that, Brett. What are executives at Speedway Motorsports doing to preserve the history there? I loved seeing the old photographs in your piece.
Yeah, so you saw in the story that some of the old suites are being torn down. They tell me that what's going to happen is they're only tearing down parts of the track that are not structurally sound. Everything else is going to be preserved, remodeled, and it will look like very similar, I should say, to the old track. It won't be like Charlotte Motor Speedway. It'll be like an old hometown track, hometown feel, and that is the goal when they do some of this remodeling after the racing is concluded in October. And coming up in our 8:30 half hour, we'll hear from the one and only Dale Earnhardt Jr. about how his test session went at the track just a few weeks ago. Back to you.
All right, Brett, thank you so much. Looking forward to that report. Not looking forward so much to the weather that we're dealing with as we go ahead and take a look here with Amanda Cox. Amanda, just blech.
It is. It's blah. We have the heat, the humidity in place. We're expecting to see maybe a couple more showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Overall, it's really looking like just a muggy day overall. 73 degrees. The winds are out of the south-southwest on the lighter side, and so we're not getting much of that movement. So when you walk out, it's just kind of this blanket of moisture that just kind of wraps you. We expect to see our temperatures getting into the 90s this afternoon. Heat index values are going to be in the hundreds, and that will extend all the way through Saturday before we finally see some relief as we get into the second half of the weekend. Couple of showers and thunderstorms. Any one of the thunderstorms, not only today, but also as we get into tomorrow, could be on the strong, possibly severe side. We have a slight risk for today. We have a marginal risk for tomorrow. Biggest threat is going to be heavy drenching downpours that could lead up to a good amount of precipitation, as well as damaging wind gusts. Lightning and hail are all an issue that we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of days. You can see rain chances actually go up on Friday and Saturday before they start to diminish as we get into Sunday, and then nice and dry once we actually get into the start of this next week. But it's not going to last for long. The Climate Prediction Center does have us above average precipitation for the next 6 to 10 days. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Once we get past your Saturday with a high of 90 degrees, we're going to drop to 83 on Sunday. We're also going to see our dew points dropping, which means it's going to be much more comfortable late Sunday. Monday is going to be a great day with lots of sunshine. We're expecting to see a high temperature around 86 degrees, and then we start to warm up once again as we head into your Tuesday. As we head to break, you're watching the most local news in the Queen City. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. The time is now 7:53. Queen City News brings you 11 hours of news each and every weekday. But here are the top stories you need to know before you head on out the door. South Carolina lawmakers who will craft the state's new abortion legislation will meet for the first time today. Committee members are tasked with re-examining South Carolina's abortion laws after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Right now, the state's heartbeat law is in effect. It bans most abortions after just 6 weeks. Polls are open for early voting in North Carolina. This time it's for the local general elections, races for city and town offices. That includes Charlotte, where voters will make final decisions on races for mayor and city council. The early voting period ends Saturday, July 23rd. Election day is on July 26th. Well, Carolina Panthers fans will see a former Browns QB taking snaps at Bank of America Stadium. Cleveland trading Baker Mayfield to the Panthers for a conditional 5th-round pick in the 2024 draft. Mayfield, you might remember, was the first overall pick in the 2018 draft. Cleveland will cover part of Mayfield's Panthers paycheck, about $10.5 million for this coming season. The Panthers will cover $5 million of his pay this season. As far as the weather, though, Amanda, what can we expect?
Well, we're expecting to see just these hot and humid conditions continuing as we head through the next couple of days. We're also going to have heat index values in the lower 100s, so a heat advisory as well as a excessive heat warning has been issued for our area, and severe thunderstorms still in the forecast. I'll have more on what you can expect in your 7-day forecast in just a minute. We'll be right back.
A former gang member is facing up to life in prison after his conviction in the 2019 murder of rap star Nipsey